Hello everyone, so this is Nari, and if you're watching the Gwent Open, they went over all the changes that they're going to be putting in place for the new season, season of the Dryad, which will start on Tuesday. So I thought I'd do sort of a quickish video going over all the changes. There's a lot to go through, so I won't be going super in depth on some of the like minor changes. Basically, just say yep, bad, yep, good, and then pass on. The more like large changes, I'll probably go into a bit more depth. Mainly wanted to do this because I know it's a lot of information to take in, and I think a lot of people will be looking at this a little bit lost, not knowing where to go with it and what the changes really mean, especially with all the leader changes. A lot of decks now are just don't exist, and completely new archetypes are now viable. So there's definitely a lot to take in, especially only 2 days before the season. So yeah, I'll go through this. I should mention that probably on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, I'll be doing another six factions, six decks video, sort of detailing a deck for each faction that I'm going to be playing during the season. Did this last season and seemed to do quite well, just so people have ideas of what to run in ranked and that sort of thing. So probably do something like that, which will definitely help if you're still feeling a bit lost. So I'll go into the changes. Someone was good enough to put it onto Reddit, and I'll link the thread in the description. So as you can see, there's a lot to get through. So an Aeromancy provision change from 12 to 13. Don't think it matters all that much. An Aeromancy is very good, still going to be very good. Iron Falcon Knife Juggler power 1 to 2, still a dead card. Not going to see play. Highwayman power from 3 to 4, on the cusp of being playable, but doesn't really fit into an archetype, so can't really see it seeing any play. Series change from damage 3 random enemies to damage 3 enemies. A really good change. They've removed some RNG from the game that wasn't really necessary, but I don't think. I mean, Siri wasn't played before, it's not really going to get played now. So then we have going into the monsters bit. Ethereal is under here, but Ethereal is a neutral card, but whatever. So Ethereal's been changed to Zeal, and its order has transformed the unit to the right to a base copy of itself. So now instead of an end of the turn effect, it's an order. And I don't think this is too bad. Um, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'll have to try it myself because I'm not sure how it's going to work in terms of, does the transformed unit also have Zeal? If it has Zeal, then that's pretty good. Um, if not, then it's probably a lot weaker. So if it doesn't have Zeal, the spawned version, it's basically removed the ability to play things like Night Wraith and stuff and spawn a load of like 1 power units on the row with Ethereal, and you can pass them around, and it's just going to tick away and keep transforming them. If it does have Zeal, that basically means you can do it all in one turn, which would weirdly work as a buff, and yeah, that's probably not what we want. It also means that it can't be abused. So like, I think a lot of people have been saying this is like they've like killed it and stuff, but I think I'm gonna have to try it and actually figure out how it works in terms of the transformed unit. But this also means you can't like mess about with your opponent. So you can't like remove stuff in the way of Ethereal, like move a Goliath onto the row with Ethereal and have it transformed, because your opponent chooses when to transform stuff with Ethereal. So I think we're gonna have to see with that. Definitely gonna have to see. So Oberon's been changed to 12 provisions, 5 power. So they've changed all the evolve cards to 12 provisions, and Oberon's been dropped down to 5 power. I think Oberon's still very, very strong. I don't think its play rate's going to see that much of a change. Alpha Werewolf boosted from 5 to 6. Still a terrible card. They're like desperate for it to be playable. I still don't think this is enough. So Caranthea has been changed from 8 to 9. I think we're going to see a lot less Caranthea now that Death Shadow's gone. And provision cost increase only makes it even less likely that you want to be running Caranthea. So I don't think The card's still not bad. I think Caranthea is very good, but we're definitely going to see less Caranthea than we have this season. So Well Done Rider's been boosted from 3 to 4, and I think this is pretty good now. It was already on the cusp of being playable. I think this is probably what it needed. So you're paying 10 provisions for 8 power that thins your deck, and yeah, I think it's in a decent spot. I think you'll probably see this a lot more. So then if we go on to Arrakis Behemoth, still pretty bad. Don't think it's going to see all that much play apart from like niche stuff. Foglet's power from 3 to 4, very, very good. I think this is now like an auto include in Haunt decks. It was already being run in Haunt decks. The power boost probably means you're going to be even more likely to be running it. So they've removed Death Shadow. So for anyone who's kind of been in the dark, because this is all that's been talked about the past couple of weeks regarding Gwent and everything, they want to get rid of the sort of play 2 cards in 1 turn leader abilities. So a load have been like reworked or removed and replaced with something completely new. So yeah, there's a lot of leader changes. So Death Shadow is completely gone, doesn't exist anymore. Carapace has been changed to boost by 3 and give Veil, and it has 3 charges. Definitely an upgrade on the old Carapace, which was boost by 3, give it shield, 2 charges, which was just terrible. No real reason to be running Carapace before. I think this is decent. Might see some player, but I don't think it's your best choice. I think monsters have been pushed back into a position of being super clunky to use, and I think the win rate's definitely going to be going down next season. So new card, Woodland Spirit, and Force of Nature, you spawn this 9 power unit, and that is it. And I don't think this is very good. So this works really well with Thrive cards, but the problem is you tend to be relying on Thrive in like round 1, but you don't want to be playing your leader ability in round 1, so when are you playing this for good points? I don't think you ever are. So yeah, I don't think Force of Nature is really that good at all. So this one I'm definitely interested in. White Frost, move an enemy unit to the other row, spawn Frost on that row for 2 turns, and you have 2 charges. So very, very good. Probably the support that Wild Hunt decks needed. It would allow you to get out Winter Queen without having to run any Frost if that was the direction you wanted to go. Just use your leader ability twice and Winter Queen would come out. Whether that's particularly good, probably not, but it will work. So I'll definitely be trying this out. Probably makes Wild Hunt a lot better than it has been, because they haven't really had any leader that synergizes super well with what they're trying to do. So yeah, I really like this. So Skellige, they've changed Holger Blackhand to deploy his damage unit by 2. I think this is like, I think Holger Blackhand is a very, very good card at the moment because it's 8 provisions, 6 power. It also has, when you play a play a ship, boost it by 1. When you play a pirate, damage a random enemy unit by 1. And it's 8 provisions, so you're getting 8 points for 8 provisions, and it's an engine. It's a very good card, but the problem is all the other pirate cards are kind of terrible. So without the support around it, you're probably not going to see it get played all that much, which is a shame because it's a very good card in a vacuum. So Brockvar Hunter, they've tried to do some weird like beast synergy stuff, but I think it's still terrible. Won't see play. So this is one people will be very happy to see. Great Sword's been changed to, it basically has the effect that Dagger has, but it's a 10 power unit, damage shot by 5, and it's whenever an enemy takes damage, not on the opposite row, and it heals itself by 1. So this is basically the old Great Sword, but it's 1 higher power, but it's capped at 10 power. So you can't get like ridiculous like Mork bags off and like pass all those points onto Greatsword. It won't work like that anymore. Um, I arguably think this is a buff because sure, if you're leaning super hard into Greatswords, then yeah, it's a nerf. But this is a buff, right? This is surely a buff. We'll have to see, but my first impression of this is like they've actually made the card a lot stronger for like mid-range warrior kind of decks. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how that one plays out. Not to mention that because it's 10 power like base, it's really good to summon out. So like Sigdrifter's Blessing and things like that, and Blaze of Glory and Yalmar and Crate basically have another really good target. So we shall have to see with Greatsword. I'll be very interested in this. So Harold's had another provision stacked on. Doesn't change that much. You're going to run Harold anyway. Just makes the deck overall weaker because you're going to have to cut something else to run Harold. Tigvy's been dropped from 11 to 10. A little bit too little too late. I mean, they killed it off with the change to just doing base power. So yeah, Tigvy's still dead. And Blood Eagles had a provision cost increase from 11 to 12. So they're basically just piling on more and more on Skellige warriors. And I honestly think, like, my initial thought after the recent, like, hotfix they made where they messed around with a few numbers, I think it was in quite a healthy spot. It was still strong. I think it was still like a sort of very high tier 2 or like tier 1 deck, but they just seem to be piling on it. I don't know if it's like public opinion kind of thing, like everyone hates it, but yeah, they just piling on. So I think it's gonna be. I think it's still good. I think it's just getting weaker and weaker as time goes on. And the last thing is Banner and Skirmisher both got one more power. Without Sacrificial Vanguard, it's not good anymore, so gonna ignore these. So Sacrificial Vanguard's gone. Battle Trance, Spawn Mardam, and whenever you play an alchemy card, heal a unit by 1. Kind of terrible. I think if this was booster random allied by 1, maybe you could argue it's okay, but I think with heal it's just not good. Not good at all. So we have Rage of the Sea, Spawn Rain, and Spawn a Deafening Siren. So this synergizes really well with Great Swords and like Dagger when you wanted to get like damage down straight away. So this is definitely something I'll be trying out. Definitely be trying Rage of the Sea. I think this is quite good actually. I think this is really quite good. Northern Realms, we have Siege Master's been changed. Boosting ally by 2, power 4. Still garbage. Probably not going to see play. And Rivian Pikeman's very similar. Damage enemy unit by 2. Power change to 4. Still garbage. So they've got rid of Vicious Slash. Fair enough. It was a bit of a probably the most boring leader because it's just deal 8 damage, apply the excess damage as bleeding to an adjacent unit or like both adjacent units, one or the other. Can't even remember. Just a bit dull. So seeing that gone, I don't really feel either way about it. They have added Shield Wall, which is boost an allied unit by 2 and give it a shield, and it has 3 charges. I mean, there's one word that puts the absolute fear in me with this. It's Anses. Anses boosted up to 6 with a shield. It's very scary. I think arguably this is better than Uprising. So I think you're going to be seeing Shield Wall quite a bit, to be honest. Especially with the synergies that you have in Northern Realms for keeping something alive and giving it a shield. So you play your Anna, boost it up to 6, give it a shield, that's not going off the board. You boost your frigate up by 2, give it a shield, it's not getting off the board. Without like specific targeted removal, and there's only so much you can run of that. So if it gets heat waved or something like that, it means the other 2 things that use shield wall on are probably going to stick. So yeah, that's going to be fun next season. I reckon we're going to be seeing a lot of shield wall Northern Realms roaming about. So pincer maneuver's been changed, and I pretty much agree with this. Draw an NR card, shuffle a card, card from your card from your deck, should say deck, card from your hand. God, cannot speak. Shuffle a card from your hand to your deck. And if the drawn card was a unit, boost it by 5. I like this change. I think pincer maneuver before was just way too unpunishable. There was no real counterplay to it. You know, your opponent plays like Donamia, Viscotta, and short of having the perfect response ready, you're just not getting through this. So yeah, that was definitely a necessary change. Much more healthy for the game, and I really like this if it's unit boosted by 5. Really, really like that. So mobilization has changed to it's basically reinforcements that spawns instead of players and boosted by 3, which isn't very good. Not very good at all. And it's killed my Rodea siege list, so I'm not too happy about that one. So scoia'tael, Harmony's back, and a lot of people will be getting cold sweats remembering how old Harmony was, but I think with Mystic Echo gone, Harmony will actually be fine, because without Mystic Echo, Harmony wasn't that strong. So I think this is completely fine, and I was basically been saying for a long time that this was needed. This was really, really needed. So happy to see that. Zoltan's Company basically now gives armor to all dwarves in a row if you control Zoltan. Still a garbage card. Very Brigade, change from damage a random unit by 2, damage it by 2. Really good, removing more RNG, much like they did with Siri, so happy to see that. Guardian's been changed from 3 to 4, and damaging the unit by 2 is an order now. Happy to see this. I think it's good change. It's basically plays like a Adirian Mauler with Symbiosis and Veil. So I think it's pretty good. I think that's pretty good, to be honest. Really happy to see that change. Hack and Volunteers change from 3 to 4. Ability is no longer row restricted by needing you to have a dwarf on the row. It's in exactly the same spot it was before. You're not playing this outside of a dwarf deck, and dwarf decks are very good. So if you are running dwarf decks, your dwarf decks just got better, but deck's still not that great. So we have Ethne's changed from 11 to 12, much like all the other evolve cards. Sentry's been given 1 armor. Doesn't change all that much. For the Ethne, I really like Ethne. I think she's quite underrated as a card, and I don't think the provision change does all that much. Yeah, so Sentry, still useless. Chariot, this change wasn't needed with Harmony coming back. But I like it. I like the change. I don't think it was necessary though, but I don't think it's exactly going to break the game, so not all that bothered. So Bomber's power's gone from 1 to 2. I don't think anything changes there. Still a bad card. So Mystic Echo's gone, which was needed. And now the new stuff going on is Nature's Gift has the passive thing of Symbiosis, so all your nature cards are spawning Treants. Really, really good. And giving allied unit Vitality 2. The order's super underwhelming, but I think the passive of Symbiosis is enough to make this playable. I'll definitely be trying out Symbiosis, Skytell, for sure. Call of Harmony's now changed to spawn 6 power Relict with Harmony. I think this will definitely help the Harmony sort of archetype, because Relict, as far as I'm aware, there aren't any relics for Skytell. Sure, there's neutral ones, but I don't think there's any for Skytell. So yeah, I think this is very interesting change. I think it's pretty much spot on balance wise. I think I'll have to try it myself to know, but it seems to be quite balanced, to be honest. So pretty happy to see that. Guerrilla Tactics, provision costs, so you're getting a bit more provisions. I don't think that matters because it's still a garbage leader ability, so take that as you will. So on to Nilfgaard. Imperial Brigade is now 4 power, and you need to control a soldier. So they're kind of pushing this soldier archetype, but still very bad. Still a bad card. Brigades change to damage unit by 1. If it's boosted, damage it by 3. Still really bad. Brathens change from 4 to 3. Needed. I think this is fair. No real complaints here. I think this is pretty much spot on what was needed. Battle prep gives 1 more boost. I think they've inadvertently boosted Theon here because Theon spawns battle prep. So now it comes down as an 8 power 4 armor defender, so pretty strong. Vincent, so this is the one that that Reddit's going to be fuming about for next week. Vincent's gone from 5 power to 3 and provisions from 11 to 10, and you can tell by these little exclamation marks that there's already a little bit of Reddit rage, and it's probably the one that will be most controversial. But I think Vincent wasn't too strong before. I think it was a little underwhelming as a card, mainly because it was very like one-dimensional. It's kind of one of those cards that feels super bad to play against, but it's not too strong. I don't mind this change. I think that's quite balanced. And honestly, I think it'll still see as much play as it did before. I don't think too much has changed here, and I don't think it needs changing. I think the only change I would say it needs is maybe the only statuses it can target are negative statuses, but I think in its current state it's perfectly fine. I think control cards like this are needed, because the people who don't like these are the kind that play the game, stack up massive units, and play ultra greedily, and then get super angry when they can't play greedily, and their engines get answered. But that's the way that CCGs work, and cards like Vincent are kind of necessary for a healthy game state. So yeah, I'm totally fine with that change. So Usurper's gained a provision cost. Don't think that changes all that much. So Theon, they must have known I was going to say that. Battle prep gives 1 more boost. It doesn't actually. Theon hasn't got a buff there. Power change from 2 to 1. So Theon's playing about the same. It's just battle prep that's better, but battle prep's not that good. So hunting packs change from 3 to 4. Still terrible. So Helga, Fire Scorpion having Siege Engine tag doesn't really change all that much. So strategic withdrawal's gone. Good. Really annoying leader ability. Imprisonment, lock an enemy unit, damage it by 3. Very strong. Don't think it's broken, but I think it's pretty good. Tactical decision has changed to you get to play Morvan Voris, and you draw 3 cards and you put back the same amount from your hand. So it basically gives you like 3 mulligans in effect. I think it's okay. I don't think it's super strong, but I think this was needed. Tactical decision was a little too strong. So really happy to see that. Imperial Formation has lost a charge. Really happy to see that. I think Imperial Formation was a bit too strong. So yeah, a loss of 1 charge I think is fair. I think it's pretty balanced. So Syndicate, Sacred Flame has changed to respawn 2 Firesworn Zealots and boost all Firesworns by 1. I think it's still a bad card. So Ewald and Horson have changed to, they have like deploys now. So it's not showing these here, but I don't think it's showing it. No, not bad looks. So Ewald is now 4 power. When you play it, it will deal 2 damage, but if Horst is in the graveyard, it'll deal 4 damage, and Horst is boost a unit by 2 If Ewald is in the graveyard, boost by 4. Mainly because they kind of noticed that everyone was playing Ewald and no one was playing Horst. So they were like, well, we kind of want them to work together. Instead of being like, you can play them on their own. So I think now they're both terrible together. So that's what they've decided to do. Horson's Freak Show, basically, yeah, it basically says it basically old Ewald, and yeah, we basically got old Ewald back, but the like actual Ewald card is completely dead, but Horson's Freak Show has kind of taken its spot in the same job. So like having a 4 power unit that's locked to the melee row that gives you 2 coins on play and deals 2 damage for 2 coins still exists in the game. It's just not Ewald anymore. It's Horson's Freak Show. So Cleric of the Flaming Rose now has Cleric tag. Okay, don't change all that much. So Wildcard's gone. And the new one is Pirate's Curve, which spawns a Sea Jackal and gains 4 coins. This is kind of a nuts finisher. I mean, I'm gonna have to try it. I'm definitely gonna have to try it because although it like looks like it's kind of a pirate synergy card in that you spawn a pirate and it's called Pirate's Curve, this just generally works with most of the like archetypes. It's just generally strong. How much play at sea? I don't know. I think I'd have to try it myself. I think it's a little underwhelming. I do like the look of it though. I think I'm definitely going to try it out, but I can't see it being like super strong. So, but we shall see. I've been wrong quite a few times with these sort of things, so we'll have to see. And general changes. Planning something big, no spoilers. Contract changes, quality of life, all that stuff. Yeah, I think nothing sort of game changing there. There's like new cosmetics and things like that. Nothing gameplay wise to worry about. So that's all the changes. As I say, a couple of days, have a video out, going over some decks, and I will catch you in the next one.